Otakuology podcast with Otaku Mike and Jin Graves.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Otakuology. I'm Jin Graves, as always. With me is Otaku Mike.
Hey, how's it going?
And we have a very special guest today, ZakuAurelius.
Hi, or just Zach is fine, but yeah, how's it going, guys?
Good, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
I just have to... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I know the name is a bit of a mouthful, so just Zach is fine.
I just have to say, I just want to say thank you first off for coming on. I've been a huge fan of yours for quite some time, watching your videos and your content that you create. You actually got me back into building Gunpla from watching your content.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that. I really like kind of it's more exciting for me just to know that, like, you know, what you said, you got back into the hobby from watching videos. Like, that's always cool to hear.
Yeah, I found you randomly one time looking up I think it was like one of your heavy arms reviews. I think it was like the heavy arms custom I found. I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to build that. But
Sure.
my question for you is, how did you get started in the hobby?
Very likely the same way that you did, if you're a fan of the heavy arms, was that just from watching Gundam when it came on Toonami 20-ish years ago, something like that. Now at this point, so yeah, Gundam Wing was my entry into Gundam as well at that time, and then everything in between now and then. There's just been a lot of development and kind of how I'm interested in Gundam. At that time, of course, it was just interested in the anime, but then I got into the toys and models, and then got out of it for a long time, and then back into modeling, and then started doing it on YouTube.
Cool. How did you go about starting it on YouTube? Like, what made you want to start becoming a content creator?
Mostly just because I felt that I had stuff that I could contribute that wasn't really being that covered that much at the time. So like P Bandai was just kind of getting started at the time. So like I had some P Bandai kits that I thought, like, you know, like other reviewers maybe wouldn't have. So I thought I could share that. And then like some other like bootleg Gundam kits that were out at the time as well. So like I had some of that stuff. So it's just stuff that I felt like maybe wasn't going to be covered by other reviewers. So I thought, I wanted to try getting into YouTube a little bit, and here's something that I could do that other people weren't doing at the time.
Because I went back through your catalog of videos, and I couldn't believe that you've been doing it for 8 years. That's a long time. It's very impressive, I feel like.
Yeah, if you would have asked me to tell you how many years I didn't even realize it's been that long. I would have said like, I'm 6 maybe. But yeah, I guess you're right. It has been a while.
Yeah, because I went back and watched a bunch of your older videos that I've never personally watched before, and I was just, it kind of took. It was kind of interesting to see your evolution as a content creator.
I'm sure.
Going through your very first video through up till now, 8 years later.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably, been a lot of stuff changed, but at the same time, maybe not that much necessarily, and maybe not enough to kind of keep up with the times, because content creation, you have to keep up with as far as like your style and presentation of what's popular, and I probably don't do a very good job of paying attention to that, but I just do what I enjoy, right?
Yeah, I mean that's all that really matters, really. I guess.
Yeah, it just depends on like how successful you really want to be at it, and I'm happy with where I'm at, so that's good.
When you started creating your content within the Gunpla community, and you decided to go full time, how was that? Like as like your job, like was that scary for you, or was it a smooth transition?
Not really scary because I didn't do it as like some people do, where it is kind of taking a little bit of a leap because I
Uh-huh.
already was married and already had kids. So like I have those
Mhm.
responsibilities. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't know that it was going to be, you know, a responsible decision to make. So it wasn't necessarily scary because like uh, I knew that because I only transitioned to doing it full time once I started working for USA Gundam stores. So
Mhm.
I'm not only relying on like YouTube
Uh-huh.
AdSense
Right.
income.
Yeah.
So I am
Yeah.
basically just a paid employee of USA Gundam
Mhm.
store while I just do also have like YouTube as well.
So what exactly do you do at USA Gundam Store now that you've moved back
Hmm.
to the States from Korea?
Yeah, basically the same thing as I was doing
Same
in
thing.
Korea. Yeah,
Okay.
just doing it here. But now being here, like there's more opportunities for me to help out with like creating content like here in
Mhm.
house. Like we have a separate channel uh,
Mhm.
for the store, which is our USA Gundam TV channel. So like I'm kind of in charge of that.
Mhm.
Um, and so while like I'm still kind of getting settled in, so I haven't really been able to produce too much like other new stuff on there. There is a lot of stuff in the works that I'm going to be working on like for that channel in the
Mhm.
coming months
Awesome.
and
Yeah.
things like that. So more kind of behind the scenes stuff that you guys can
That's
see,
cool.
like
I mean, 'cause
what happens here at the store, stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I actually watch that channel as well, because that's one of the
Mhm.
places I shop from. Uh, uh,
Mhm.
you happen to turn me onto it because they're
Oh,
your sponsors, you know. Uh,
right.
but
Sure.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I
Yeah.
lost my train of
Well, I
thought.
mean, you shop there religiously, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, yeah, and I can just say like from when I first started working with them, what I wanted to do was I wanted to work with a company because I had previously been working with a company that was based out of Australia.
hmm
And I noticed from my YouTube analytics that most of my audience is in America. So when that was going away, then I wanted to try to hook up with a company in the US. So I just kind of asked around in the community,
hmm
what shop would you guys recommend? Because living in Korea, I don't have like that much personal shopping
Hmm.
experience from stores in the
Right.
US. So I just asked around, and a lot of people said they enjoyed shopping with USA Gundam Store and they recommended it. So that's why I reached out to Adam at the time.
Hmm.
And yeah, and it all worked out.
That's
That's
awesome.
cool.
So,
Mhm.
moving back and being able to do things through USA Gundam Store, are there any models that you haven't gotten to build yet, but you hope to through having those ties, I guess?
Um, Kind of a lot of, I guess, what you're asking about is stuff that already existed while I was in Korea. And like, for
Yeah.
example, um, like I never have, and I don't expect to ever really get like sample models from Bandai or something like
Hmm.
that, like a
Yeah.
month before they come out or anything like that. That'd be awesome, but I don't think that that's ever going to happen. It's like uh, working like with USA Gundam Store doesn't help with that. And even if I was working for like any other bigger store that was even like in Japan or something like that, if I was working for Mandarake or something, I don't know. But like there in
Mhm.
Japan, it still wouldn't help because Bandai just doesn't do that. But with other companies, like especially like the Chinese companies that are putting out like the different type of ATK girls and stuff like that, that
Hmm.
stuff I
Mhm.
get. Not every model, but a lot of that stuff I do get ahead of time. And while I was living in Korea, of course, that's a shorter shipping distance for them. So I'm sure it was easier for them to send that kind of stuff to me
Yeah.
over there and faster. Whereas here, I'll still get it early, and it's a little bit
Hmm.
early, but then it kind of goes into my queue.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
even though I may get it early, the review may not come out until like right when the kit's coming out here anyway. But
Hmm.
I try to get to stuff as soon as I can.
Yeah.
But I mean, like working with the company, uh, yes, has like been helpful to kind of like get samples of kits early and like that from different companies. But that was going on earlier before I moved, so like actually
Mhm.
moving hasn't really made that much of a difference in that sense.
Mm.
Mm.
Cool. That's cool. Um, when you were in Korea, does Korea have a big Gunpla market over there?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
a
yeah.
like a big Gunpla fandom?
Oh yeah. I don't know what the numbers are offhand, but I would assume like outside of Japan, it's got to be 2 or 3 or 4. Uh,
Wow.
Between Korea and China,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of Gunpla in like Singapore, maybe, but it's a pretty small country.
Wow.
So Korea's got to be, I would imagine, number 2 or 3.
Huh.
Mm,
That's
yeah,
cool.
it's huge. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you've built models throughout the years. Where do you put them all? Like, do you keep
Most of
them?
the time, they go right back in the box
Okay.
after I build them. Yep. Just because of how much I'm building, and just
Uh-huh.
especially like living in Korea, like apartments
Mm-hmm.
are good size, but like I said, I have a family. So if I was just living by myself, I may have like more of a like display space set up for that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But living with my family, I just don't. And I also don't really have that much desire, really, to be honest, to have like
Uh-huh.
a huge display case like
Uh-huh.
full of Gunpla. I just really enjoy like just the building and like
Okay.
Yeah.
painting and doing all that. And,
Uh-huh.
like actually displaying the stuff is not as, I don't know, not as appealing for me. I guess it
Okay.
would be cool if I had the opportunity, but I've just never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
Do you only keep the ones that you like? Are you really, really in like?
Um, I usually keep most of them.
Okay.
Uh, if it's like a kit that I'm just like really not into, because like, yeah, if it's a kit that I like, then I'll keep it with the intent, to like someday work on it more, paint it or whatever. Like if I have some kind of idea of something I might want to do with it in the future, then I'll keep
Mhm.
it. But if it's a kit that I know that like I just don't really have, I couldn't see myself ever having enough interest in the kit to ever go back and work on it again, then in that case I'll either give it away or sell it or something like that. Sometimes I offload some kits. So yeah.
Mhm. What's your
Go
what's
ahead.
your like favorite line of model to really build on?
Probably HG, just
Okay.
because they're fun, quick, easy to customize, a lot of variety, and I think they're just probably the most fun kits to work on for me. For me, but I think other people
Yeah.
are different, just depending on what you like to do with kits. If you're the kind of person that likes to spend like months working on a kit and doing like tons of scribing and customization and stuff like that, then I would imagine you probably prefer like MG or something like that. But a lot of people
Mhm.
do that kind of stuff with HGs. But like the reason that
Mhm.
I like HGs so much is because they are pretty quick, and
Mhm.
I like to work on projects like pretty quickly, and I have just like a lot of stuff going on and a lot of ideas on things that I would like to do in my head. So I like a project that I can finish, in like a few weeks.
That's cool.
And HGs
Yeah,
are perfect for
because
that.
one of my projects is building through the entire Universal Century line, and
Uh-huh.
so I have a bunch too. But I like picking them up because they're so diverse and everything else, and you can just kind of like,
Sure.
this is the one I want to build today. Things like that. But
Hmm. Yep.
and then the 30-minute mission ones, I really enjoy it. Like even just taking those around and actually playing with them or taking pictures and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah. HGs are great just because for the most part, I mean, there's duds here and there that are kind of a pain, but for the most part, they're pretty solid. So yeah, especially if you're into like toy photography and stuff like that, sure,
Hmm.
they're really great for that. Hmm.
So do because you have kids, we Jen and I have kids as well. Do your kids enjoy the Gunpla hobby like as much as you do?
Mm, not yet. I
Not
don't know
yet.
if they will. My son is 6 and my daughter's 4. So my
Hmm.
daughter definitely not
Yeah.
really. I mean, like, I don't know. If she saw something, she'd be like, "Oh, cool." My son, I think, yeah, definitely. If he
Hmm.
had like more opportunity,
Hmm.
I haven't really done it much with him. Like, we've built
Okay.
a couple of models together.
Uh-huh.
Not really Gundams though, even like just Pokemon models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what was the other one that we built. They helped me build that mammoth model recently.
Oh.
But like they
Oh
enjoy
yeah.
it.
Hmm.
Yeah, they
Hmm.
enjoy it definitely.
Yeah, my
So
my
I don't know.
daughter really loves building the Pokemon models.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then she actually just built her first um Gundam model recently, actually, and she
Mhm.
really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure later on, I'm sure he'll probably be into it. Maybe, I don't know. Some people have asked me before, like, are you gonna push your kids to be interested, or the opposite, like, or are you going to like, if they're into it or not? I really don't care either way, to be honest. If they're into it, cool. If not, whatever, it's fine.
I always feel like, you don't want to push your hobbies onto your kids. If they want to do it, you let them do it. It's not like they have to build this Gundam right here.
Well, so on that note, do you have any other hobbies? Because I know you just have your channel and everybody just sees like the Gunpla, but are there other things that you like, anime or manga or anything when you have the time? Or
well, time's the thing, right? Because I did used to have more hobbies, but it's kind of basically now just kind of come down to this is basically it. Because it's really just kind of just all I have time for, really. I never really was that into like watching a bunch of anime. I feel like if I maybe did have the time, then maybe I would more. So there's a lot of things that like I'm interested in, and if I had the time, I would love to make it a hobby. I used to play more video games, but now I basically only play Genshin Impact on my phone. That's about it. And I used to cycle a lot, but just these days don't do that. And even before that too, I used to skate, and now I really only skate like when I go over to Japan, and it's fun to just like take a penny board and just kind of skate around there in the city. So that's basically the only time I ever really get to do that, and it's been a couple years since I've been able to go to Japan, unfortunately. But I mean, so I have other hobbies, and of course, like music, movies. I love that. Music is one thing that I'm able to enjoy because I can multitask. I can listen to music, of course, like while I'm building Gunpla.
Right.
And movies to an extent as well too.
What's your genre that you like listening to while you're building?
Really kind of just about anything. I'm pretty eclectic when it comes to a music taste, so really kind of anything. A lot of what I've been listening to recently, I've really kind of been primarily listening to a lot of Japanese music lately, and not for any particular reason. It's just kind of what I've been feeling. And even that, I couldn't really nail it down to one genre, because one group that I've been listening to a lot recently that I really like it's technically J-pop, but they're like an anti-idol group. So it's kind of a little bit different, I guess, from like a regular idol group. And then the other one I don't really know how to describe.
Like,
sorry?
What's the difference between an idol group and an anti-idol group?
This group, I think there's probably more out there now. I'm not really plugged into the scene. I know of this one anti-idol group, and I don't really know anything else outside of that.
Okay.
I'm sure there's probably others, but this is like Biz, or Brand New Idol Society is the name of the group. And they kind of started, and I think they were the first really kind of anti-idol group. And basically what it is that like it started because the girl who started the group didn't like idol culture. So she wanted to start her own idol group that just like did everything that normal idol groups like weren't supposed to do. To be anti-idol.
I'll have to check that out. That sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I hate idol groups too, so I connected with that. And so it is kind of funny that like you are kind of into an idol group and making idol music as a way to kind of like show how much you dislike that music. I don't know, it's interesting, but it's fun music. I like it.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out because I listen to a lot of different stuff too. Me and Mike actually just recently got to meet each other in person for the first time, and I had some death metal Asian music kick on, and he's like, "What is this?" I was like, "You just got to listen to it. I love it."
Yeah, No, there's a lot of really great Japanese music out there. Definitely, like there's. I don't really listen to any Japanese death metal. I know there's a lot out there, but like one of my favorite bands, just in the world in general, not Japanese or otherwise, but just one of my favorite bands is Rintoshite Shigure, which is a Japanese band, but it's not death metal. It's more kind of like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a very chaotic, sort of screamo, like melodic screamo, I guess, sort of in a way, but I don't know. It's different, yeah.
Wow.
But then I like other stuff like another Japanese artist I've been listening to a lot recently is the Toe, which is very different from that. It's super calm and like very chill type of music. So a wide variety of different things.
That's cool.
Mm.
So out of model building, is there one line that you haven't built yet that you've want to try to build?
Line?
Yeah.
No, I think I've tried every
You think you tried all of
line.
them?
Yeah. I can say like the high res line was a line that I was never really that interested in trying. I wasn't really into it, but I have built a couple of well, no, I take that back. I've built I think just the one, just the wing. I think is the only high res kit.
Okay.
But I'm getting ready to build the new Astray that just came out.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm working on that. Going to be doing a live build of that in the near future here.
Cool.
So let me ask you if you built this one. I picked it up recently, and it was really weird just because after you actually put all the pieces together for the model, then it's actually a puzzle. But the Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Puzzle one, have you built that one? You have any opinions of it, or?
No, I know the kit you're talking about, but no, I have not. I've not built that yet. It looks interesting though.
Yeah, it was probably the weirdest thing I've ever put together because everything else model wise seems like you're putting together a puzzle, and this one you get done building the actual model pieces, then it's like, hey, now take all 36 pieces or whatever and actually build it, and it's like an actual puzzle that you have to put together. So
sure, yeah.
And
I would file that under one of Bandai's experimental models. I think that's what they are.
Yeah,
Bandai does that. Yeah, from time to time they try something very different, and yeah, usually they're pretty fun.
Yeah, like I really like the cup ramen model kit that they put out a couple years ago. That one was fun to build.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's fun when they do that. I think some people might dislike that that's like taking away their resources from producing more Gunpla kits, which I understand, but it's cool that they try new things from time to time.
Yeah.
So being a content creator, are there any other content creators that you personally enjoy watching within the Gunpla community?
Well, I think I can. Well, I don't know. I'm sure I can't speak for everyone because I've heard differently from different people, but I just know from my experience and from some other people that I've talked to, once you get to like starting to create your own content, then you really don't really enjoy that much watching other people making the same type of content as you. Yeah. So I know there's some people like Kurosama, for example, is someone who I know who does watch a lot of other people's content as well, and aside from making his own content, but like myself, I don't really watch other people's content really all that much. Sometimes I'll just check out, see what other people are doing, but no, I don't really watch it. And then, again, I think that's probably just kind of a time thing.
Yeah.
It's not for any particular reason. I don't want to give them the views or anything like that.
No, I get you. I totally get it. I mean, you have life to deal with. You gotta have a nice balance of, work and family and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm making that content all day long, and then like like YouTube is supposed to be like a way to like escape, relax, whatever. I don't want to then just be consuming the same stuff. It already kind of dominates so much of my life. Don't want it to like also dominate my free time, you know.
How do you balance that? Balance work with your free time.
Well, it's difficult. There were definitely growing pains when, like, kind of in the early days of doing YouTube, where that was right. Like, kind of, I started like about a year before I got married, and so like right around that time, like when I got married, and then a little bit after that, then my son was born, and like that was when my channel was like first starting to like kind of really get going. So it was difficult, and I did do it. I did focus too much on YouTube, but like I will say I would never do like work on models and work on videos like at times when I could have been with my wife and newborn son. I would do it just like at night while they're sleeping. So like, I would just always probably be like up all night, not like all night, but up really late at night and stuff. So like, yeah, there was a lot of kind of sleep sacrificing at that time. And then on to many years, only just kind of recently after moving, that I've kind of now I don't really work at night these days because I'm still kind of adjusting to just kind of everything going on here. It's been a lot going on. So, but no, you have to kind of just figure out what works. And, I know there's other people, other content creators who are not married, don't have kids. So like their schedules and like how they work is, it's much more open when they don't have the kind of other responsibilities to have to worry about, of course.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Having a wife and kids like we do as well, you definitely have to find that happy medium. Because if you don't have a happy wife, you don't have a happy life. Let's be honest. Let's be honest with that.
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah.
So you just have to kind of figure out what works, and just just make sure that everybody's on the same page too. Because like you may be thinking that you're doing it the right way, but then you don't want to find out too late that your significant other or whatever is just like hating it. So communication is key, I guess, right?
And like you said earlier, it's really funny, not really focusing on other content or anything else, because you're basically living it almost every day, not during your free time. And it's kind of funny because like Mike's like, I listen to all of our shows, and I'm like, I don't listen to any of our shows. He's like, why? I go, I was there, I lived it, like I know. So
I never go back and watch any of my content. I recorded it, I edited it, so I've heard it enough. So long as nobody comes to me in the comments and says like, hey, your audio is messed up, then I'll have to check it. But so long as nobody tells me there's anything wrong with the video, then it's fine, and I won't ever rewatch it again. So I just never want to do that.
So what's next for you and your channel? What things do you want to do this year for your channel?
I don't know. I mean, really, just kind of, I do feel like as far as like custom building, and not even like to use that phrasing of like custom building, I don't know. But as far as like just techniques and things like that I have like in my skill set that I can share with people, I think I've probably already like shared the same techniques so many times now at this point that I feel like there's probably not that much that I have really that I can teach anyone anymore that I haven't already shown in videos before. So probably, if I can, learning some new stuff myself that then I can share with people, or just trying new things. And I think like that's one of the great things that about having an audience, about having a platform is then using that, to share what share what you learn, or your ideas, whatever. So even if it's not new techniques, one thing that I do enjoy sharing with people is like when we get like new tools out, or new paints and things like that, when there's stuff that I can just share my opinions on stuff like that with people so that they're better informed about new stuff coming out if they're interested in buying it. And that goes for model kits as well too, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always interested in sharing my opinions on stuff with people. But as far as like new techniques, I don't really have very much to share with anyone anymore. So I need to learn some more stuff. Which there's been things that have been on my to-do list for a long time as far as just like new techniques that I've been wanting to try out working with more. It's just kind of a matter of time, and also just kind of the nerve to work on stuff, because there's like working with oils is one thing that I've wanted to work more on, but I'm just like nervous about it, to be honest. But I was the same about airbrushing before I started airbrushing, and one thing that I'll tell anybody when it comes to airbrushing is that you just kind of have to do it, and once you do it, you'll be so glad that you started doing it. It's kind of scary at first, but it's really, really worth it.
Yeah, like I've recently started weathering my kits or some kits, and I was very nervous doing that. I was like, "Oh man, am I doing this right?" Like, because I didn't find a lot of. I found some videos online, but like, I was like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Like, but I've had to practice and learn how to weather some kits, and it's definitely a challenge to do.
Yeah, no, and you really respect the people who can do it so well, right?
Yes. I have seen some pictures where I'm like, dang, they must put a lot of work into that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but it's kind of funny because then I've heard some people say, like, who are really good at weathering, and I've heard them say that like they have a lot of respect for people who can do like a really clean build, because for them it's really difficult to keep something super clean, which is something that I feel like I'm much better at doing clean builds, and I don't really feel like it takes any skill to do that. I feel like that's much easier. But I don't know, at the same time, I have heard from people who are great at weathering that they have a lot of respect for people who can do stuff really cleanly. So I don't know, maybe it's something to do with how your brain works on stuff. I have no idea.
Maybe.
I think it's probably more to do with how you got into the hobby. I think a lot of the people who are really great at weathering got into Gunpla like through other hobbies like scale modeling and stuff, where they were learning weathering first before they were working on Gunpla.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases. So there's that option. Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to take like one of your models, and do like a diorama setup for it?
Occasionally. Sometimes, yeah. That's another thing that has never really been something that I was really that into. I think part of that, in all honesty, is probably just because, again, I'm not really good at it, and it would take a lot. I think I'm just kind of nervous about it. It would take a lot of time and effort and money for, the materials and things like that. It's a big like commitment to try to get good at. So that's probably, in all honesty, one reason why I've never really been that much interested in it. But I don't know. Like I said before, I do like projects that I can just kind of finish. I can make something cool and finish, relatively short amount of time, and then move on to the next project. And dioramas definitely take a lot more time.
Right.
Cool. But yeah, I think that's time for the podcast. I just want to say thank you for coming on and speaking with us, talking with us. Please plug your channel. We'll leave links down below for all your social media and your channel and whatnot. But please let people know what can expect in the future for you in your channel.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Just check out my channel, which is just ZakuAurelius. But also do check out the USA Gundam TV channel, not because it's like my job to mention that, but just because I think it is a really good resource, like the live streams that Adam and I do there. Like if you guys are interested to know, well, like not just about like keeping up with what kits are coming out, but like just kind of what goes on behind the scenes, or like running a business. I think it's a really good resource for people just to kind of know about. So check that out too. I have Instagram and Twitter accounts. Instagram, I share like some stuff that I'm working on. Twitter, I don't really share too much that I'm working on. It's more so like just retweeting other cool stuff that I find. So
Yeah.
just basically check out my account on Twitter, but basically just check the stuff that I'm retweeting out, because you'll find some cool inspiration and stuff there. But that's basically it. My Facebook page as well is just kind of
All
about
right.
sharing my videos and sharing kind of what I'm working on. But
Yeah.
I have all that stuff, so you can check all that out.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. This was a lot
Welcome.
of fun to talk to you.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And for anybody out there listening, remember, as always, we will see you next Tuesday.